In this video, we're going to talk about creating a basic website. So we'll start with trying to make sure we understand data storage in the internet, and then I'm going to show you an example of creating a simple website using Google Sites. Basically, we're focusing on building websites through tools like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace that don't require you to know code, that help you out with that part so you can make a nice website without having to learn all the coding. So first, data storage in the internet. It's really important to know where data is stored, and data can be files, sound files, anything like that, any type of code. Often we access data through some type of link, and the link you're most used to is this HTTP or HTTPS. That's a web address. That means whatever you're accessing is actually on a hosted server. We think of it as on a cloud. However, sometimes from your device, you can actually create a link with like C or D. That means it's stored on your physical device or some external drive connected to your device or sometimes within your network, which means not everyone can access that. So it's important to know that so that you know who can access what you're posting. If it's on a hosted server like the cloud, you have to check the access permission in the accounts. So we know, like in Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, they set it up so that you can upload files and still keep those files private to you. That's the default. If you want to share those files or pictures or images or slides on a website, you have to change those permissions so that it's accessible to people who are not signed in to your account. If it's on your device, it's stored on your computer or an external device, which means before you can share it on a website, you have to upload it. Tools like Wix and Weebly make it quite easy because when you upload a file, they usually automatically make it available. But if you're pulling something from a cloud drive, you have to check the accounts. Here's some just basic idea about how the internet works. This is a very simplified model, but it'll help you kind of think about this access issue. So the client is just whoever is viewing the web page. They go to their web browser like Safari or Chrome, they put in their web address, and it sends a request to a server. Server is what is external that is holding the files to the website. And the server sends those back in file formats like HTML, CSS. These are codes. They could have a PDF file or a picture. It sends it all back to the client, and the web browser, Chrome, Safari, etc., actually decodes these codes and makes it into a pretty website for you to look at. Here's another way to think of it. The website itself is a bunch of code. If you're using a tool like Wix, Weebly, Google Sites, it actually helps you create this code without having to actually do the code. But that code and whatever is associated with it is saved on some type of server. And again, the person requests it, the server sends the files, and the browser decodes it and shows you the website. So when you want to create just a basic website, you have to start by choosing a service for creation and for saving those. So you have to have something that helps you create these files, and you have to have something that's going to store these files. The nice thing about things like Google Sites and Weebly and Wix is they provide both of these things together. They let you create the website and they will store it for you. If you're using something else like some type of WordPress tool with custom domains, oftentimes you have to purchase the domain itself, which is the web address, maybe a tool for creating that, and you have to pay a server to store it. But these tools are nice because it's just one step. The other thing to remember when you're creating a website is that you start from some type of back end, and that looks different from different services, but I'm going to show you the example of Google Sites. So this is just an example website, and the back end looks like something like this. It's some really long code that no one would ever want to type into a browser, okay? And it's something that looks like you can edit, and I'll show you this in a minute. And when I'm editing on here, Google actually takes this and it turns it into the code, which technically is zeros and ones, and builds the files. And then when someone wants to access the website, they actually request that code and then they get the website. Now this is a problem when you get a request error like this. So I'm going to walk through a little bit to show you why that might happen and how to fix it. So this is a random Google site I created for a family vacation of all things because I am a nerd. And this is Google Sites. So you see over here some different things I can do. I'm going to add a page. So I'm just going to add one. We're just going to call it test page. And then you're going to see here, it's going to show up in the navigation right here. Okay. And I want to insert, or we'll insert this type of block, and I'm just going to put some text, or actually I'm going to just choose a file from Drive. So I actually opened one earlier, this project journal. Let's say I wanted to share that. I'm just going to actually put in that address, that link. Say I'm telling people go here, and I want to make that a descriptive link. So I'm going to change this to like project journal and apply that. Okay, so that's a link so people can go and look at that if they want from my website. I also might do something like slides. And let's say I have slides like, there's one I think I have that's called colleges. See if it finds it. If not, I'm going to have to pull it up elsewhere. There it is right there. So let's say that right now I want to put from Drive. I have to do that again. That's okay. We want to put colleges. And drop that in there. And there we go, insert, that's where it is. I haven't used this for a while. And it put the slides in. Now let's say, okay, find out more here. Now I want to share it with people. So if I take, and you might not be able to see it, but I'm going to copy the web address that is actually in my search bar, my top bar on my website. And I'm going to do something to check to see if people can access my website. I'm going to open on Chrome what's called an incognito window. Other browsers might have something called a privacy window. What that is it's a window where it does not save your account data. So any account I'm signed into, it is not signed in here. Okay? So then if I paste, I'm going to paste that address right there and look at it. Uh-oh, it says that I can't access it. That means I have to sign in. Now that's good if I only want some people to be able to access my website. But if I want it to be available to everyone, that's not going to work. And it looks like they're going to improve that soon. That's nice. Okay, so I'm going to close my incognito tab and think about what might be wrong here. I think what's wrong is that I actually gave the link to my my backend. I put a link to this instead of a link to the actual website. So on Google Sites, to get the actual website, I'm going to publish it. Oh, I already published. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to, let's do review pages and publish. Oh, I didn't changes. Okay, let's go to publish settings. There we go. And right here, I put my web address that I wanted. This is war. And right here, this is my domain. So this is actually what people will go to when they want to view my site. Okay? So this way I can do it here and I can publish it, make sure I publish it. Sometimes it takes a minute, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do an incognito window and paste that address and look at it here. Okay, so here is my page that anyone on the internet could view. There's some problems. This requires signing in. Okay, if I go to my test page, this requires signing in. And this, if I go here, it also requires signing in. So people would be pretty annoyed with my website. So what I need to do, and I'm just going to work on this test page, is I need to make sure these are shared with everyone. So I'm going to actually go to this Google Slides file, and I'm going to go to the share button, and I'm going to change permissions. And I want anyone with a link to be able to access it. And I'm going to save that. And I'm going to this one over here too, and I'm going to do share. Anyone with a link can access it, and save that. Okay. Now sometimes it takes a minute, but we wait a second and then we go back to the incognito window or privacy window. We type it. We'll see if it's fixed yet. Yes. So now people can see this if they want. They can go to the journal and they can see that. So it's incredibly important to test everything you do to make sure that someone else that's not signed into your account can access it. Otherwise, your website's going to have problems. All right? So that is making sure that your sharing settings are set correctly for every file you wish to share. And I showed the example that you publish, you get a web address, you check your sharing settings, you get a front end website that other people can other people can view. That allows people to actually access your website. So remember, we're creating the website from the back end, from this thing with this crazy code, and then we're getting a front end site to share it, checking the sharing settings and making sure that we publish. When you're sharing online, check account access. Make sure that others can do it, and you can do that with that incognito or privacy tab. Determine the back end versus the front end. So if you give someone a link to the back end of your website, they might not be able to access it. Now in Google Sites, you can give permission for other people to access your back end. For example, if you're working and collaborating with someone else and you're both creating the website, you might want to do that. But if you just want someone to view it, make sure to give it the front end. Use PDFs whenever you can. That makes it easier to view. So probably smarter than giving people a link to my project journal would be going to File, download as PDF, and then uploading that instead of just putting a link like that. But sometimes, depending on your purpose, it might be appropriate to put a link. And then we're testing through incognito or privacy mode. And it's always good to test with different devices as well, because you want to see what it looks like on a mobile device, a tablet. That helps make your website more robust and accessible. Key takeaways: back-end websites, they're created on a back end, and then we're going to share them on a front end link. And it's critical to check website access from a privacy or incognito window. Thanks for watching.